on record, I have nothing to say about Marasca as at now. My reason I don't have anything to say is because he's not coached a team personally in the EPL. He coached Leicester City. They almost blew a 14-point lead at the end of the season. I like his aura. I like his tease. I like his charisma. I like what he does in the YouTube videos. But YouTube videos, we've seen it. We've seen all of those things. We know he's Poch's assistant. Let us leave it as such. No more conversation on him again to the end of the season. Thank you.
Yes.
So, Siki Akono. When Siki Akono was coach of Black Stars, we all sat here. Oh.
Awesome. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Shaft Podcast. This is an episode of the Beer Parlor. My name is Andrews, and I'm here with two Chelsea fans to have a discussion mainly about Chelsea. I think there's been a lot going on with Chelsea that people have barely spoken about in terms of starting from the days of Abramovich, the Ukraine war that initiated the forced sale, down to the changes that we've seen, to the managerial changes and analysis of last season. Let's look at Enzo Maresca's era and let's see how that's going to proceed for Chelsea. With me here are two die-hard fans of Chelsea. If you follow them, you know that Chelsea's heartbreak has been very personal to their own romantic, personal, professional lives in many ways, and it's dwindled their happiness. With me here is Raphael Arthur and Frank Bannerman as well. And so, yeah, Raphael, how are you?
Before you go, and I want to just clear the hair, please. Chelsea has not affected our romantic life. you guys shouldn't have that kind of conversation. Chelsea is dear to me, but it's one of those things. Don't make it look like it's so extraordinary.
Very dear to you.
Exactly.
Yeah, but not dear enough. Okay. Yeah. Bannerman, Charlie, what's up?
I'm alive, despite Chelsea's recent disgraceful form. I'm alive. No, but what matters.
But I think we can analyze Chelsea's issues from a much more holistic perspective. So before we get to the muddy sides where like the jokes and the like teasing would come in, because for me, I'm here for it. I'm going to roast you guys because fortunately for me, I can escape the Chelsea bans and then just be an objective viewer. But let's start from Russia-Ukraine war, and this is probably a much more intellectual conversation to have. Why do you think that a war happens, Russia invades Ukraine, and then a football club in England is forced to sell? The ownership of a football club in England is forced to sell. Like, we barely see these things happen, and it seems like it's so far-fetched that for the spillover of a war to now affect the football club ownership of a big club like Chelsea, it seems like a much more complex thing to untangle. So let's start with you. Why do you think those things can occur? Two different unrelated situations, but have a very strong connection between the two.
I think one of the biggest problems when it comes to international conflicts is international positions. Yeah. The fact that host countries usually have a problem when billionaires and multi-billionaires who contribute a large chunk to their economy have positions that are questionable to them. Even though clearly Abramovich had shown that he was willing to help end the war, right? Yeah. There were still entities that didn't necessarily trust him, and he felt pressured. Not that he just felt pressured, he was pressured to be able to sell off his shares and then give it up. So I feel like on Abramovich's part, he was very classy, I should say, because he didn't put so many stringent, ties when it came to releasing Chelsea and all that. It is more about geopolitics, but it still goes back to like how everything is still tied. Yeah. Regardless of how it's about geopolitics, it still comes back to the economy and investment and all that. I think Abramovich really did his best because he loved the club. I think if someone didn't really love the club as much as he did, they would have left Chelsea in a worse state. Yeah. So I think, that's it.
But let's look at, I know a lot of footballing decisions are made on the cry of the fans, but also same as war decisions, like when a war pans out, citizens sort of dictate public policy and what they want to see their government do. Was this more of pressure mounted from the grassroots, from fans and citizens in England, or was it just a government decision to sort of do something to resonate that we are in no way wanting to allow any form of relationship with the Russian oligarchs?
So I think before we talk about the Russia-Ukraine war, even before that, you can always notice that there were always pressure on Abramovich, and people always had a question with his relationship he had with Putin. So there was even a point in time where over a year, Abramovich never came to watch a match at Stamford Bridge. He always, even the finals we won the last Champions League 21, that was his last time he had interactions with the team. He never had interactions within England. That's because a couple of people, including political figures, always had a problem with the relationship he had with the Russian president there. That alone shows you how much, even right from the top, right before the war happened, where they had the legitimate reasons, there were always lots of cries for people to like, it's time for him to go. Also because we were successful, let's be fair. Ever throughout Abramovich's era, his biggest priority has always been success. As a Chelsea fan, I went on over 15 years or 16 years without going a season trophyless. That to show you how consistent that was. And it was something that was affecting even the local England fans there, because it was more like they see Chelsea to be a homegrown team, and somebody else has come to invade that particular space that they have. The thing about the fan reaction, which was the question that you asked for Bannerman comes in, is that fans, we don't see Abramovich as just a owner. We think he's part of the team. Because for people who joined Chelsea in the early 2000s, for me, I joined in like 2002, 3. My dad is a core Chelsea fan since. And for those of us that knew that era, we didn't see Abramovich as a manager, or we didn't see him as an owner. He didn't operate this as a business. He operated it like more as an extension of himself. He wanted to see it grow, succeed. He takes key decisions in coaches. A coach loses 3 or 4 matches. You see how that reacts when you have bad results. That shows you how personal it was. So from fans, I don't know about those in England, but for those of us outside, it was really, really a very horrible decision, and I think it's not something that is fair.
Yeah, before I change the topic a little bit, is it more of just, what do you call it, just fantasy or more like nostalgia? I think that's a better word. Is it just because he's left, things are not going well, therefore Chelsea fans have this nostalgic view about him, or this view was there even when he was there, that people didn't want him to leave despite the things that were happening?
So the thing about Abramovich, about Chelsea as a club and as an institution, is that Chelsea is a very critical club. Like, people they criticize whether things are going well, things are not going well. They would continue to criticize
people like you.
Of course, because we strive for the best. And the thing is, even when Abramovich was pumping in so much money, and there were even conversations of Abramovich can even fly you to like a yacht and then talk to you, and then all of a sudden you are, even though you didn't want to move, now you are moving to the club. Like, funny things, not necessarily true. Like, he will go and hold your parents hostage, and that's the extent to which people believed in Abramovich. So even though he invested a lot of money and time, people were still criticizing. So it's not like people didn't have problems when he was there, but you can easily compare the success of the Abramovich era and this Todd Boehly era. Clearly, this is not going well. So it means there might be institutional and structural. There are institutional and structural changes that has led to this like current situation. So, but also a little bit on what he was saying. One of the most important things that I think he mentioned was that we need to show the difference between Chelsea fans who stay in England, who have known the club since they were, and me in Ghana, Africa, who I don't really have any ties to Chelsea based on the fact that.
But they make you sad.
Of course, but you see, I wouldn't have a problem if a Russian is investing money in that club. I do not care, so long as they are successful. It's the same way lots of Man City fans don't care about oil money. We are successful, and that's what matters. So I think there's a dichotomy that exists there.
But even on what Bannerman said, especially when you realize like football is like a market, and the fact that English football has been sold to us as something that we take personal, because for me, I take Chelsea's issues more personal than any local, even more than Black Stars, no offense. That's to tell you how they've sold it to lots of individuals. So at the point where you realize that there is a very huge extension of the football market, it means at this point in time, it's no more an English problem, because at some point in time, when you look at Africa as a whole demography, to be fair, Chelsea fans, you can see Chelsea fan as a trotro mate, you can see Chelsea fan as a CEO, you can see a Chelsea fan everywhere. That whole diversity alone shows you how widespread it has become and how we have a huge stake in it. Even if I've not been to, I don't think he's been to Stamford Bridge, but at least we show our contribution by buying fake jerseys, but we are fine.
No, but he mentioned something that was interesting about the dichotomy of fans that
Okay.
exist between like the international fan base and then the local fan base. And obviously, the local fan base who attend games are able to have a much more pronounced influence on the club because, for instance, they are able to protest if they want to. Like, if you stop watching your pirated Chelsea matches,
no,
Chelsea doesn't lose any revenue.
I don't think we watch it legit. Don't say we watch it.
If you stop watching your pirated Chelsea matches, Chelsea doesn't lose anything, right? But if homegrown fans decide to stop buying tickets, to stop going to Stamford
That's
Bridge,
an impact.
then that's a huge revenue loss to the club. Do you think that the view of homegrown fans, like the local fans in Chelsea, in London, were different on Abramovich? Were they much more critical? Because you've clearly established that like the international fans probably don't have an opinion on it, they don't really care. But what were the stance of the homegrown fans? Were they much more critical or were they also nonchalant about it?
So I think the fact that the fans had a banner for Abramovich, despite the fact that the UK government was trying to chase him out of England, shows that they did not care.
Okay.
They simply did not care. Of course, there's a divide. There are people who think that he's best friends with Putin. He's a problem. But the fact that there was a banner in the stadium by the fans shows that, just like us, they kind of care about the success and they care about someone who cared as much about the club. So,
The funny thing about the conversation he's having is around that time we sagged this guy, what's his name? Tuchel. And the thing was, 1 minute on Twitter trends, you see Tuchel out. Another minute, you see Abramovich out, Abramovich in. So at that point in time, we were like a topic of conversation for over 3 weeks. And that's to tell you how influential and powerful like Chelsea fan base is. But Charlie...
I mean, this is a good segue. We'll come to Tuchel in a bit. So it's very, very interesting that you bring him up. But the last question I want to ask on this whole Russia, Ukraine, Abramovich saga is, do you think that these things should be allowed to happen? Like, wars happening should have implications on the private lives of people, right? So, for instance, Abramovich's relationship with Putin, it's a very isolated thing. I don't think it had a significant influence or any meaningful influence on his ownership of Chelsea and the way in which he ran the day-to-day of the club. But then eventually, that relationship was used as an extension to make a decision that, well, he shouldn't own the club anymore. Do you think we should reach the point where powerful people who have relations with people who are doing things we dislike in the world as a whole, we hold them to account on behalf of those people, sort of?
All right, so I think this is more about optics than it is about objective outcome, exactly.
Okay.
So, for instance, let's take Ghana, and then a very good example, our boss Cheddar. One of the most important issues that happened with Cheddar was, I think his chief of staff, the lady, she wasn't Ghanaian. And she was supporting Cheddar. This is not an exact mirror example analogy, but I'm just saying people had an issue with her not being a Ghanaian and then supporting someone running for president
and being his spokesperson.
Yes. Compared to that, this is a billionaire who owns one of the most profitable clubs in England. You get it? So it's about the optics. This guy that we are geopolitically against, who is making things difficult for us. You are sending tax money to literally. So it's like, at that point in time, are we supporting someone who are we making someone millions of dollars who we are fighting against at the same time? I'm not saying it's justified. I'm just saying, from the point of view of the people within England, optically, it didn't look so good.
Let me act as a devil's advocate. I think objectively, when you think about it, it's a fair call for them to make. Reason being that it's something that happens within friendship and relationships. I think most of the things, if you look at Abramovich and the things he got, were based on the relationship he had with the Russian president. If you look at research, when Putin became president, that was when Abramovich got lots of access to expand his wealth base. The fact that you've been able to benefit from the good times when you were friends with him, and you are still friends with him, because there was no point where Abramovich came out to say he was saying Putin was wrong. I don't think throughout the entire period when there was a whole saga between whether you love Chelsea,
he was ever going to do that.
Exactly. The fact that everybody's he didn't come out to say, don't worry, Russia is wrong, everything. He didn't come out to explicitly say he had a problem where he supported. That silence alone meant that inherently he was either part or it wasn't part. So if you want to objectively assess that whole situation, him getting punished, as much as it's bad for us as Chelsea fans, when you look at it, he benefited from that partnership, that friendship. If he's taking a backlash from it, you have to bite your own cake as long as you take it up.
So just adding up to that, I feel like then there's a huge inconsistency, right? Especially when it comes to Man City.
Yeah.
Because you clearly say that you care about human rights, you care about violation of human rights, etc. And yet, Man City is owned by, people whose human rights record, it's not something you agree with, as a country. So how do those two things coexist at the same time?
But just to chip in here, I don't think we can compare like the everyday discussions about they are not free people, they don't have a good human rights record to Russia's invasion to Ukraine. And the reason is that when Abramovich was just somebody who had relations with Putin, Putin didn't have a great human rights record. But obviously they allowed him to own the club.
Yeah.
They only broke that chain when there was way too much aggression in terms of like doing something outlandish, like invading a country. So
But even
maybe unless these guys also invade someone and then the English FA doesn't do
Right,
anything.
there are several
then-
invasions.
yeah, no. What I was going to say that was
Several
that
Cold Wars.
the power and I be the day the people in charge of Man City, the day they start having issues, that is where we understand
even
why
their-
all
their-
those
their
trials and
charges
everything,
and
their
all
charges,
that are
everything is looking like,
creating
it's not.
issues.
Wait, let the issue come. We are here, God willing. So I think those things are just compared, and you can see them.
I feel like there's a huge hypocrisy when it comes to,
There's a
especially
huge
West,
hypocrisy
Everywhere.
everywhere.
So why can't they just? So my owners, they are okay with getting the money, so
It
long
pained
as
you
all the
because
bad
Abramovich
things.
left and Chelsea
Yes,
got
it's
bad.
pained me clearly.
I feel like right now, Bannerman is sounding like, look at City, they've won 6.
But they
And we are
have.
suffering. But when we were winning, that there was Russian human rights problem.
He really have issues. He really have issues.
My owners, you guys are okay with like
Charlie.
getting all the investments as a country,
Yeah, you.
benefiting from
Yeah,
it. So
but-
like as the issues that are happening, they are not outblown anything.
Yeah,
in the corner.
exactly.
You don't
I
care.
know, but for somebody who buys fake jersey and we care a lot too.
Like
You care a lot.
when I heard you
lot.
guys say that, we don't care, like, bro.
it's like the time when they said Lampard scored against Chelsea, then somebody died. You might have like, bro, you're in Africa. Like, he doesn't care about you.
I think at some point, right? You see, you said something about how right now you even care about Chelsea more than you care about Black Stars.
Oh, yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's about how we grew up, what we used to watch, and who was
Yeah,
successful.
yeah.
When we were growing up, Black Stars was a bit successful. You realize that Black Stars never won a trophy, right?
Yeah.
Throughout our childhood.
Yeah.
They never won a trophy. We still like them. Chelsea won a lot of trophies.
Yeah,
Right.
But beyond that, we watch them week in, week out.
Exactly. So
We are winning.
Exactly.
even though we are international fans, we still do care a lot about.
Yeah. And I
the
also think that
successes.
like club football is now a huge part of your social life.
Exactly.
So that's why if club football is no more, there's like your Thursdays or your Saturdays. Like there's nothing really to talk about. There's nothing to engage. There's nothing to look forward to. If there's a game Chelsea had this weekend, this guy on his status would have started writing about, this team, if you catch them, we are supposed to play this way.
but-
So there's a social life that's crafted around engaging with the club, which means they are way more than just something you watch. It's something your life revolves around to a certain
Extension on that. Kopama is playing in England. But I don't care about England like that, but I care about Kopama playing. You get so yeah. Right now I know very well, like I know what's happening on the training ground. I know what your man is doing. We are paying attention to them. So
I saw him riding his bicycle. So it means he's ready for the final.
last year is out.
That's how much you're following Chelsea.
Yeah.
We are following Cole Palmer
Kukurea.
and Cuckoo. Even though we're bashing Cuckoo when he was at Chelsea,
I
because
swear.
no,
we're not
she's
bashing him.
but
We're not bashing
you know,
him. It's criticism. We're trying to
Oh, yes,
make him
yes.
better.
It's
Don't say bash
trying
him.
trying to whitewash them. But one final point here is that I think there was this whole discussion about not giving access to the revenue from the sale of the club.
Yes, I remember.
At least I don't know whether they were permanently denying him access to that or they were pushing it way down the line. More like the most immediate thing was he should relinquish the club and the negotiations about the revenue would happen later. I don't know whether that's fair or not. I just want to find out way in on that.
You see, I honestly don't think it's been fair, especially, and that was way before, like, his treatment in England, how he wasn't allowed to conduct business in England and everything. I don't think it was fair. And that's why I said again that Abramovich was very classy. Yeah. Because he left a lot of money on the table.
Yeah, he left a lot.
And just to be clear, we don't know these people. Like, we don't know whether these people are like, because billionaires, they always say that a billionaire never becomes a billionaire without burying a few bodies. But we don't know. It's not like Abramovich is an angel. It's not like England is terrible and all that. But based on what we are seeing, it felt like they were squeezing him, pushing him out, and he still left a lot of money on the table. And I think it's only because, unlike other owners, he loved football and he cares about Chelsea.
I try to imagine if it was an owner who simply said, look, I don't want to sell, you can force me to, and I'll drag it through the courts.
Yeah.
It would go through the courts for years before such an issue would be resolved.
I tend to disagree on that. The point is, at that point in time, if you guys realize, it was the entire world against Russia. At some point in time, it looked like, no one is the entire world, the entire Western world against Russia. It looked like everybody that cared about football, everybody that had the media, everybody. I think even if they had gone to court, the court of public opinion was enough to make him look bad. The truth is, Abramovich was classy. He said, oh, just give me I don't want the extra revenue on it. But when you think about it in principle again, for every single time we are trying to say he suffered, let's flip it up. If Russia probably was the biggest guy on the block and did it, and Chelsea got a lot more money, because he's friends with Putin, he would have benefited more. Like, all those things are still based on relationships. So it's just one of those punishments you pay for relationships. Probably now he's enjoying, like, and that's the funny thing about this whole Russia-Ukraine war scenario, because it's had its effects since when it started. People are still living their lives. We are still here. We miss him, but life goes on. Probably he might buy Chelsea later on. You don't know. So those things, they are still based on time. So let's see.
Okay, fun. Let's come down to the time when things started getting worse for you guys.
It's not worse.
It started getting worse for you guys. The sacking of Thomas Tuchel.
Yeah.
I mean, Tuchel himself wasn't having a great season at the start of that season, but he was still in top 4. He wasn't playing great, but he was getting good results. And I don't think his Champions League run was also going well as well. Like, he was struggling in the games you could see. But I think more prominently was his issues with the hierarchy of the club as well. Do you think that sacking was too erratic? Yeah.
First things first, it was based on standards.
Okay.
If you look at that time and the kind of standard we had as a team, and I'm looking at it now, I regret the decision. Reason being, Tuchel lost, I think, 2-3, like, he drew a couple of matches.
He drew a lot, but
and
lost very few.
Lost very few, but we were still there. Like,
you were fourth on the
we
table.
were fourth.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about it then. It's like, nah, how can we be? We're losing. But think about it now. It was a very horrible decision.
Because look at where Potter took you guys.
No, relax. That's why I look at him now. Because at some point in my life, Chelsea losing back-to-back was a problem.
Yeah. We
drawing back-to-back was a problem. I've gotten to that stage now where we've normalized losing, that when we win, it's like a shock to us.
Yeah.
So
his BP went high. let me finish. But when we think about it retrospectively, I think Tuchel sacking at that time was a good decision, because at some point at that time it was too recycled. We can get the whole idea of players had injuries, but it seemed like we thought we had a league with us. We were topping the league. We literally gave City, you know how everybody gives City points at the beginning of the season? We had about 5 matches that all we had to do was to win a couple and know we are winning the league. Within the blip of, and we drew back, before we saw it, Chelsea was under and we were already in 3rd place. And I think for us at that time, I'm saying at that time, not now, as fans to have an issue then, it was legit. The sacking was legit. Not even changing my mind then.
Also, just to put this into context, I think maybe you guys got too excited at the start of that season. Because he started on top of the table.
Yeah.
Because the previous season, Tuchel wasn't great in the league.
Sorry, we won the Champions League.
Yeah, you won the Champions League.
Exactly.
That's fine. Like, teams have performed very horribly in the league and still won the Champions League.
Like,
the Liverpool that won the Champions League was fourth in the league. Was fourth in the league, but they won the Champions League. So that's what I'm saying. Like City has won the treble. They've won the league how many times? How many times have they won the Champions League? Once. So a lot of the time, the team's performance in the actual league has no correlation to their performance in the Champions League. And I think you guys, as Chelsea fans, the base and the club itself, got too excited because from winning the Champions League and starting the new season at the top of the table. You had forgotten that, look, the league itself, you were struggling in it the previous season, and so your expectations went through the roof, and all of a sudden, third, fourth place was no more enough for you guys. You needed standards.
Let him just go. Let him go on.
Let me just pass this comment on standards. Compare the standards in the league from the previous league's performance to that particular league's performance. That's where the standard is. It's not the previous year's Champions League to that league's performance.
For someone who's a Chelsea fan, you are really caring a lot. You are caring a lot about us.
Because I'm moderating the conversation, and I want you guys to know that you can't run around with standards and all of a sudden everything conversation.
Bannerman will better explain it.
Yeah. So this is the thing, right? If you are going to sack a coach, like Thomas Tuchel, serial Champions League finalist, Champions League champion with you.
Just the previous season, by the way.
With who? Gallagher. Who did he win the Champions League with?
Mount.
Yeah, exactly.
No, don't let them make like Mount was bad.
He wasn't bad.
Exactly.
But utilized
we had Timo Werner.
Look at Mount. See where they play, how they play. If they
exactly.
play. Look at Mount at United.
We went unbeaten.
No, wait. Compare Mount's form at United now and his form in Chelsea. It's not about the quality of the player, but the ability for the coach to utilize that quality. And Tuchel did that. If you are sacking Tuchel and your own is to replace him with Graham Potter because he has succeeded at Brighton, I feel like that then the standard is not comparative.
Exactly.
You get me? It makes sense. Everything you say makes perfect sense. Chelsea has a standard. We have really high standards. We want to perform.
Yeah.
And because of that, Tuchel is not meeting up to the standard, so we must fire him.
Yeah.
If you are going to replace him with someone who is not on his level and not on Chelsea level, what is the point? Why are you firing him then?
Yeah.
Do you get me? So I understand you too. Tuchel wasn't having a great time, but all coaches don't. Carlo Ancelotti was struggling with Real Madrid when he went back the first time.
I agree with
you get me?
Yeah. So for me, the thing I'm pointing out is that let's not make it seem like Tuchel was the world's best coach, like the league's best coach the previous season. No. Hold on. I'm obviously compared to Graham Potter. Graham Potter was a minion. Tuchel was like a demigod, like up in the skies. What I'm talking about is Tuchel's season, like the season before he was sacked. I'm saying that let's not make it seem like, because he's talking about standards, let's not make it seem like Tuchel's season before he was the best coach in the league and all of a sudden his standards has dropped. But everybody knows Tuchel's style of football has always been scrappy, very defensive, very physical. Probably a lot of the coaches have now probably like figured his team out, and so he needed to make tactical adjustments, etc. So I don't think there was a need to sack him at that point.
But one thing I wanted to understand is the context.
Yeah.
I think the conversation I had was as to whether that decision then was one that was worth it. Because notice,
I don't think it was.
Two things happened then: bad performance, change in ownership.
Bad performance compared to what?
Wait. So there's a time when there was a time when we had leagues, when we took leagues and we don't take. So it's like we win the league this season, we don't win the following season, we win the following season. Yeah. That's because on the back of that season, we know there's progress. Yeah. On the back of the season when we won the Champions League, we knew that the following season we would do well. We didn't, but we won the Europa. But there was progress because there was competition then. The following season, we did. Like, there's that thing of up, down, up, down. Yeah. Now, Tuchel's season where he topped the table, at that time, our standard as a team was high. Two, let's not make it look like Graham Potter was a horrible coach when ECV was there. Reason I'm saying so is ECV. No, prior to Brighton, relax. Prior to Brighton, relax. The same idea behind us saying that we took Mo. Okay, Mourinho is a very high standard to compare to Potter. Relax. Because when we took Mourinho, it was when he just won with Porto.
My issue with the Potter issue, especially with what you are saying, is as you are doing this, compare that to Enzo Maresca. Because people are like, and this is why I'm doing the analogy. People are like, oh, he has won the league with Leicester, right?
Yeah.
Leicester. So because of that, this currency he has is great. Well, what about before then? Because this is Chelsea. Look,
you have to have a track record. But that's to tell you how we have. Because when we appointed Potter as a coach, everybody was excited. Why?
I wasn't.
Okay, I was actually. The key player we stole from him was the key success to his previous
Cucurella.
Cuckoo. Then who? the person we were fighting with Liverpool over for a long period. That transfer, I still regret most of my tweets. I still regret most of my tweets about Caicedo and Enzo. All the players we had were promising players. It really looked like we were starting a new project. In fact, we thought Todd Boehly, Johan Wadek, guys, I could give you guys reference to how everybody was saying this guy is exceptional. Like, look at his CV, he can do something. The thing is, why did we think? Do you know that we gave Potter time?
Yeah, we did.
Potter, no, because the thing is, Potter lost matches that at some point it was not about being Chelsea fan anymore. Any logical, if he was even coaching Kotoko.
At that point, we're hiring for potential, not quality.
But the potential is a gamble. Yeah, but that's what make it look like Potter was a bad coach.
No, but
I think he was.
He wasn't.
Chelsea cannot be the club with your standards that you talk about and be hiring for potential.
You've forgotten that the
When
standards
Tuchel was coming in, Tuchel had been a manager of PSG.
No, but guys,
Tuchel had a very high CV,
but guys,
very quality
context,
background.
standards changed once Boehly came in.
Oh, so now the standards change.
Yes, because the thing is, once we decided to say Abramovich, it's time for you to go. We were all excited about the billionaire US guy coming. Yeah. Some people were not. For me, I was excited because I know they are coming to spend money. Why was I extra excited? We are signing Enzo. We are signing Caicedo. The guy, like, we were so sure. Even at that point, if Ronaldo was available and he was in his prime,
more than IMF and World Bank.
Exactly, because the money was there. And guess what? He was sacking the back of room staff. Everybody go. What's the name?
New people.
Who do you need? And that was my problem with our guy, Graham Potter. Potter, who do you need? We're going to take this Leipzig technical coach. Okay, come. How much is it? Then he drops the money. He's like, I'm playing fantasy coach. How I spend my money there, like bringing the best. Now, okay, we team new. Give us the results. Then
there's Wahala.
That's how we started.
See, my problem with all that is that at the beginning I said Chelsea is a club that criticizes a lot. Yeah. And it's about immediate success. When you get in here, you must give immediate success. Yeah. Now, you see, this is where the clash comes in. There are new owners. There's a new structure. There are new coaches. So there's an assumption of a rebuild. Yeah. With a rebuild, you can't change and have 3 different coaches in a year. Yeah. It means that the coach that you have, you must give that coach time. Yeah. The problem because of how Chelsea is, whilst you are giving that coach time, we need results. Yeah. We can't be giving you time for you to be trying out. So you guys did what? Sacked Tuchel, brought Potter, sacked him and came to end with Lampard.
Like we sacked him. Relax. There was a period. Don't make it look like the.
But that's what happened.
No, relax.
Sacked Potter.
No, there was a period. There was a period for Potter. Relax. Potter's period was we are drawing. Oh, don't worry. There was injury. We are losing. It's nothing. We lose to Arsenal. Jesus, it's Arsenal. Everybody shows us. It's not deep. We meet somebody 6-4. Yeah. Chelsea goes 3 games. We are not scoring. Then in my head, I'm like, what's happening? But guess what? The YouTube highlights of the training was exceptional. Players were pointing in and out. Then we come back again. We go an entire month. Then Chelsea wins a game. We are losing. What is solution to every problem? Gallagher. Yeah. He's changing a striker, it's Gallagher. He's changing a defender, it's Gallagher. What does Gallagher come to do? He runs around as if he's an energy drink. He's an energy drink pump around the field. Guess what? Next game comes in again. What's his next change? Gallagher. And guy, like, you literally saw that whole period.
I think props to Gallagher because, you see, honestly, so there was a point where people are like, I can't believe Gallagher is your best player. Yeah, like he's trying. Nobody's helping him.
Because at that time, Mount was messing around.
Yeah.
Kai Havertz. Yeah. He's good now. Look, he's not good. He's average now. But then he was shit.
Havertz is doing exactly what we did for us.
Yeah, but let's even talk about the players they had then. Lukaku.
Jesus Christ.
Butter Sterling.
But wait, you guys have had Lukaku.
No, relax. Butter Sterling. Sterling was Ziyech, who couldn't cross. And that time, like, everything was just, I said at some point, you watch Chelsea's match, and Chelsea fans, we are loud. It's Chelsea fans in Ghana that would go to, and there's a thing about Chelsea fans and low-key, we have a dissonance in fan base. Yeah. If you go and watch a Chelsea match with a huge fan base, there are groups of people there. They are the ones that know, the intellectual ones that won't argue or say anything. Yeah. They are the ones that will just come and open their mouth and say something so random, and you feel like moving your jersey because you're like, bro, what was that? Imagine how it felt like at that point when we were all united and losing together.
It was crazy. So you see, one thing I would say is that I wouldn't blame too much of the coaches. I totally do blame Potter and other coaches, but not too much because these players were exceptional players in their team before they came to Chelsea. Ziyech was a magician with the crosses. do you see the goal he scored for Ajax? Like, crazy stuff. Lukaku was, well, I've never been a fan of Lukaku's football.
Who has been a fan of Lukaku?
He just does hold up play.
Lukaku is one of the players that I wonder how they made a football career out of their skills.
It's crazy. But he scores the goals.
Charlie.
He gets it. And he comes to Chelsea. And
gives me hope that you can be a footballer.
It's too late for me. It's too late for me. But you see, Lukaku was that guy. Despite... Who was our striker at the time? We were counting on Havertz, bro. Like, so Lukaku was a very big
but
addition.
Do you think, like, Potter was also overhyped by the English media because he's an Englishman? The English media, they do it all the time. They would... Like, Potter started playing some nice style of football with Brighton.
And what he did was when he was scoring City. That was a mistake we did.
But you see, this is the problem. This is how you know that it wasn't just Potter. Because when De Zerbi took over Brighton, they were still successful.
Exactly, that's what I was saying, that they took the thing out of context from recognizing the club he was at, the structure of the club and the approach of the club, to just say, Potter is doing wonders with Brighton. De Zerbi took over and Brighton didn't change.
Yeah, they were still successful.
Potter went to Chelsea and he was exposed.
Exactly. So I feel like it doesn't just boil down to the coaches, but also the structure of the team. Now, looking at the structure of Chelsea, I feel like the current structure is not treating Chelsea like the top club it is. Because it is doing a rebuild. A rebuild doesn't mean we strip our standards down to the level of... Which terrible team do we have currently in the league right now?
United.
Crystal Palace. They never go to relegation, but they are always terrible. But like, it's like they are Crystal Palace. And I feel like that's the reason why... Oh, please.
He scored a hat-trick for you recently.
Oh, please. I feel like that is the reason why, like, you would want potential good coaches.
Yeah.
Not the already made abandoned coaches. I'm very surprised they weren't going all out for really big coaches. I don't know, maybe they weren't available. Yeah. But you are going out, if you look at the short list of the coaches that Chelsea had, there was De Zerbi, there was... I didn't even know where Marasca came from. And then there was someone else. I've forgotten who it was. There was someone else on the short list. Jesus Christ. Yes. None of those people...
Ipswich Town.
Yes. None of those people are at the level of which Chelsea usually...
They can't turn Chelsea around.
So I feel like this is a structure problem.
Yeah.
It's a structure problem. And it's how we are viewing Chelsea right now.
Yeah.
This team,
I think the owners are viewing Chelsea from a different perspective.
Exactly.
My point, I feel like we have become like an academy, because I feel like at this point, Todd Boehly realized... Yeah, because let's be fair.
Teenagers.
Yeah, because it's like...
I have a lot to say on that.
relax. Because if you look at the kind of view he had, Abramovich, who is the most expensive player then? Yes. Drogba buys them, boom. Yes. ACN, we are buying. Yes. Now, I don't know what happened with Todd Boehly, but this guy, what's his name? Caicedo. We bought Caicedo at a ridiculous price. I don't think we should have bought him, by the way.
Enzo.
Then you buy Enzo. Like those two, for you to have bought those two players at that amount, it's crazy.
And then you buy like 16,
and they are all potential.
Then when you buy them, then all of a sudden it's like, I don't think I should buy expensive players anymore. Now Chelsea goes after anything that plays football, and that's wonders. That's why even on Twitter somebody was like, if Ongo was a person that scored the highest goal at Euros, Todd Boehly would have bought him.
Someone made a joke that Chelsea went to contact Spain to sign Kukurea, and Spain said that he's already their player, so they should wait. After the Euros, he will come back to them.
And that's my problem. My problem is that because of the rebuild, we'll get to that part. But let me just say that they are running Chelsea more like, how do we get the most money? Yeah. Because they are going to buy 23 under 17 children, and they are going to become good. They are going to build them up and then sell them and all that. They don't really care about the lack of experience in the team, because currently we don't have so much experience in the team. Yeah. A lot of young talent. Gallagher, Enzo, Caicedo. Thiago Silva is no longer there. So when you look at the back, Fofana, Badiashile, all of them are young players. So the fact that you are rebuilding and you want to do business doesn't mean you strip the club of the standard and then you buy potential and hope for the best. Yeah. And the reason why I'm saying this is because the and Todd Boehly they own the Dodgers.
Yeah.
And they flipped it after I think 2 years or so. The franchise became like extremely successful. Yeah, well, this isn't isn't that. This is Chelsea.
But even per logic of the Dodgers, they were not successful. You flipped them, so it means there was no pressure. There was no crazy. This one, we are already successful. This is the thing about Chelsea. We have been so spoon-fed with success to the extent that losing can be an option.
You guys built up a ridiculous ego.
Yes. 2, our fan base, it's like, no, as I said, because we cut across both intellectual, non-intellectual, delusional, it means everybody has the expectations of what they want. Yeah. And that's the point. So for you to be able to satisfy all these kind of people, you have lots of things to do. I honestly still think, again, Todd Boehly is just sitting behind the system playing like fantasy manager. Because for me, when I play my fantasy manager, I don't have fans. I'm my fan. If I enjoy what I do, I can buy anybody at any price and all those things. I feel like he's not really so bothered with the kind of things that happen, and the only reason he only reacts is when he realizes the losses are a lot. Like, come on, then he has to just change his mind.
I'll talk about Lampard, Poch, and then we'll come to Marasca in a bit. But the financial model that he's trying to run, which is like buy young players, increase their value as they play in Chelsea, and then sell them off to make profit. Like those signings of Enzo, Caicedo, Mudryk, of the most senseless to the financial model I can think of.
Do you know that our entire conversation, we kept on mentioning players, and we forgot that we actually
about Mudryk.
These guys were bought for ridiculous amounts of money. You can never tell me at the time Chelsea will sell Enzo, his value will be more than what he was bought for. You can't tell me that at the time Chelsea would sell Caicedo, his value will be more than what he was bought for. Because football transfers are not going to see a world where you sell Caicedo for what, 200 million or 150 million or 180 million to make profit on them.
But before what he said, a minute, we can't sell any of the players you mentioned now. Do you know why?
Why?
We are still paying for them.
Yeah, actually. You've amortized their costs for the next 6 years.
Where are we going to sell them? Like, let's be fair.
We are going to get their value in them helping us win Champions League trophies.
With Marasca.
We'll hope and pray.
You couldn't do it with Poch.
No. But you can go on with... No. Let's just go on to the conversation you want to have now about the Poch and potential that...
But first, let's talk about Lampard.
No.
The second coming of Lampard, that's what was, it blew my mind away because I was like, see, Potter was getting terrible results, fine. But allow him to run out the season because you had already changed the coach that same season by taking off Tuchel. So allow Potter to go through. Maybe you'd see some light at the end of the tunnel but you take Potter out, bring in an interim coach. Who is the interim coach? Frank Lampard.
So let me speak on Frank Lampard. So you see, Frank Lampard, you are a club legend, and I will always give you the props for being a club legend. Lampard took us through a lockdown period where we were banned from making transfers.
Well,
and he used fodder. He used the players that we didn't even regard to keep us so high in the league. Props to you. Respect to Lampard. But bro, you fell off. At a point, it just wasn't working out. And it was so evident that and that's the thing, I don't think you realize how much the Chelsea fan base loves Frank Lampard.
I think
we love him.
Really love him.
And for us to now say, bro, you have to go, that means you clearly did badly now.
Clarity. We like Frank Lampard, the player.
Exactly.
Frank Lampard, the coach, should stop. See, let's be fair. He should never coach.
I think he could have started somewhere.
There is a good case for Lampard, especially during his first era.
Please make the case.
His first stint at Chelsea.
Yes.
No, the thing about the transfer freeze and the fact that after he bought the players that he wanted to buy when the transfer ban was lifted, he actually never got the chance to really develop that team. And those are the players. Listen, those were the players that Tuchel came to pick and won the Champions League with them.
Exactly.
So you don't tell me that those signings were bad. It's just that the coach never had the time to really build a team with them.
Argue on time, agreed. But whether that Lampard can do what Tuchel did, never.
Exactly.
I don't. Wait.
Agreed.
Listen. The reason why I'm saying that Lampard, to a very significant degree, has been unlucky in his coaching career. Very, very unlucky. So, see, there's a world in which if he had all the money during the time that he had the transfer ban, he would have performed worse.
Yeah, exactly.
But there's a world in which he would have performed better. The only thing is that we can never conclusively say that Lampard is a terrible coach because his first stint at Chelsea was not under ideal circumstances. His second stint was a team that has seen 2 coaches in one season, abysmal performances, low on confidence, and come and put him there and you're expecting him to do what magic.
But you see, when Lampard was sacked, there was a run up to before he was sacked. He was not doing well.
But similarly, Tuchel wasn't doing
No,
well.
So the point I'm trying to make is that he wasn't doing well to a point where, and that's why I started by saying we love Lampard. To a point where all the love we had for Lampard, we said you stay here for now. And all the love, stay here, bro. You have to go.
I mean,
so for him to be able to be sacked that way, I don't get the mindset.
I agree with
that
you
tells
that
us to go.
I agree with you that under those circumstances, it was fair to sack Lampard, both in his first stint and his second stint. What I'm saying is that under those circumstances, you cannot conclusively say that he's a terrible coach. That's my point. Because I do not think he's had optimal conditions to properly operate as a coach at Chelsea. Even his time at what do you call it? Was it Everton?
A response. To me. Oh no, so to me. Oh no, to me.
Look at the Everton that he took. The financial struggles that Everton was under. What exactly is he?
Sure. To me. So I disagree with Andrew's times 50 billion% for one reason. See, the success of a coach is not based on all those things he's saying. Those things are like things you do backdoor. It's like a debate room. That 7 minutes you give your speech is very important. So as to whether before the 7 minutes you were drunk, as to whether before the 7 minutes you were okay, you were sober or anything. Wait, if you gave an exceptional speech, the winning you get there, or if you are your true self then, is what matters. Lampard, as to whether when Lampard came, there was no money, there was no time. Everybody there had prostate cancer. Or if there was anything wrong there, no offense, if anything was the problem then, that can't be an excuse for you to say he was, like, we can't say he's wrong. Bro, it was a failure. Reason why he was, like, that's the word, is that we thought it was a Chelsea problem. So you let us give you Everton that doesn't have fan base. Let us give you Everton that nobody cares as to whether they win. Because if Everton wins 10 matches, we'll be shocked. If Chelsea wins 10 matches, we won't be shocked.
No.
But wait, don't say no. Relax. You had your time.
Continue.
Overall span of Lampard as a coach is winning ratio versus his draw ratio versus losing ratio. You, Andrews, do you still think he's a coach?
I think. See,
No.
So I forgot about the Everton stint. That's why I was saying fair. But when you add the Everton performances, I feel like you see. Wait, before we go, do we judge Lampard too harshly? Let's remember that certain coaches at the beginning of their career suffered. Lampard didn't get the honeymoon of starting from a small club and building up his confidence, and he was just thrust into like really big teams.
Who sent him? I know. You people make it sound like some. No, relax. You people make it sound like. No, relax. Guardiola's career. Guardiola's career with Barca big team took the main team. One of the greatest managers ever. There is opportunity. When Chelsea came and said, Lampard, come and coach us, you could have easily just sat down and said, guys, I ain't ready for that. That's the mistake Gerrard did. Gerrard, you were coaching the Scottish guys, unbeaten, exceptional. You came, they showed you your level. He's now out of the scene. Company, he was doing company things in EFL. You see how life is. That's why Lampard, don't give Lampard any excuse of. That can be a conversation.
Despite the company failure, he's the Bayern Munich coach. They saw the potential. I just feel like Lampard probably, to me, and that's why I say props to him for seeing Chelsea through our difficult times. But at a point, he just wasn't doing enough.
My thing with Lampard, which I think you guys should notice here, is that like I'm not a fan of defending football coaches. They earn a ridiculous amount of money. I don't think like any troubles should be troubling them that much in the world. They sleep in jacuzzis and do whatever they want. They can literally get up and buy a house with their 1 week salary. So I don't really care like that. My point is that if you look at the conditions under which Lampard has coached, I don't think it is fair to him for anybody to cast a conclusion on his career as a coach. I'm not saying that he's proven that he's a good coach. I'm saying that he's never had the real opportunity to exhibit what he can be as a coach under optimal circumstances. Because looking at that Everton job, Everton's FFP woes started when Lampard was there. Everton's leadership, literally, Lampard was literally the next Ten Hag for Everton. He was running recruitment, he was dealing with backroom staff issues, he was running the day-to-day management of the club, literally more like a manager, like the Alex Ferguson situation. And Everton is not the club you go there to do it under such terrible circumstances.
Once again, to
right?
him.
So, to me, he's unlucky, which has cast, like, maybe these things happen. It has cast a negative outcome on his coaching career, but I don't think we can conclusively
before you go on, let's just put a full stop again. You saw it. You were there. You could have said, Minyebium, but decided that you want to take the savior complex. If the backlash comes, don't come and tell me that he had, but he didn't.
You remember one of the highlights of Everton's season was that Lampard prevented them from going to relegation.
Joke of the season.
Because things were bad.
Joke of the season. He happened the season after, happened again in this previous one again. So what are you saying?
No. What I'm saying is that it should also tell you that Everton is a club that seasonally has very terrible structures. So if you are a coach and you find yourself there, and regardless of the number of coaches they are having, the same scenarios are repeating, you can't use that to judge the quality of a coach.
If that's what you mean, it means that Lampard is not a difference maker. He's part of the system.
You see,
that's what I've said, that you can't judge his qualities as of now.
On that, right? Remember we were talking about how the whole Chelsea rebuild, Chelsea change, we kept getting coaches that I don't think were up to the level of Chelsea.
Yeah.
Lampard is brilliant.
Yeah.
But he wasn't Chelsea's level.
Yeah, I still don't think he was.
You get me?
Well, the only thing I'm saying is that his stints at those levels have sort of killed his career. Yeah. Which I don't think should be dead.
He's English. He will rise again. The media will support him.
Once again, just like he's English, he's not going to come home.
He's actually whitewashing his image now, doing podcasts.
No. They said his charity matches is the managers. Even now, when he loses, funny thing, he still loses those matches. The point is, it's not his calling. He said, "Wow, it's okay."
Let's talk about Pochettino. Now, Poch had first off, I want to start by asking, what do you think was the goal for hiring Pochettino? Because it seemed like the length of Poch's contract clearly indicates that he was an interim manager for the project. Because if you look at Potter, they gave him like a 5-year contract. Marasca has a 6-year contract or so. Poch got a 2-year contract with a clause that said that after the first year, there was going to be a review to decide whether he was going to do the second year. And so the question is, was it just more of right from the onset, you were hiring him as an interim manager to sort of stabilize things with the chaos that was in the club?
I think they actually liked Pochettino, looking at how much backing Pochettino got.
Yeah.
But my problem also, I think that no matter what we say about Poch, he had a very good CV.
Yeah.
He had a heavy CV.
He has.
Yeah, he has a heavy CV.
He still has.
From the teams he has coached before and all that. So you may have your qualms with Pochettino, but if you are comparing Pochettino to Lampard, Maresca, to Potter, Pochettino was the most qualified.
Tuchel, the only person across the coaches who have come who probably match up to the CV.
Yes, Tuchel, Poch. Exactly. Poch had that CV going for him. So I think they liked him. Personally, I was never a big fan of Pochettino because you see, it's not about the big teams he has coached, about the impact he had at those teams.
Yeah.
At PSG, with all these players, the Mbappes and all that, I didn't see how much of an impact Poch made in that team. And people would give excuses. Everybody makes fine now. Like, it's PSG. I don't think.
Praise, I'm shocked, but go on.
Yeah. I think Poch had a very solid CV. Yeah. So probably, in answering your question, they liked him.
Yeah.
I did not like him.
Yeah.
I didn't think he had done enough at his clubs to come and turn Chelsea around. And you should think about the context. We had suffered for a long time as Chelsea fans.
Yeah.
We're waiting for a replacement. And then who is it?
A serial loser.
Pochettino.
Finalist.
That wasn't good enough, to be honest. That wasn't good enough.
For me, once again, the only reason why people think Poch is that guy is because of his longevity, not because of what he had won. Poch as a coach, let's be fair, in England, didn't win anything and is a key history. He has a key history in Tottenham's empty cupboard. You people should not come and make it look like Poch is that guy. He won something. Because weird thing is Gerrard won Scottish League goal. I'm being ridiculous. I agree. I'm probably ridiculing his experience, but nobody cares about those things because it's like You had a chance to win the league. You didn't. Really? No. I'm just messing around right now because there is a messing around is Champions League finals. He no win. All the league, Dele Ali, Son, Hurricane, relax. No, relax. Yes. Yeah. No. Boss, Tottenham to Champions League final, beautiful. But that's the worst Champions League final we've watched in my whole life.
Oh yeah, that was horrible.
Good. It's who? Poch. The point is, Poch is not that guy. Like, no offense.
I think it's more comparative.
Yes.
Compared to
everyone
else.
No. Compared to Lampard and Marasca.
Marasca and Potter.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Experience.
Because
but the thing is, my problem with him is he didn't have
to keep hopping to big teams. It means that they recognize a certain quality that you possess. Exactly.
Poch is holding coach, not winning coach.
So what he says, come.
No, holding as in he's there to hold the team together. And I think I agree because the truth is, all the things is good. When he went to Tottenham, he tried. And the point is, what trophy has Poch won?
Are you trying to say Poch is like, let's say Ange is a second version of Poch?
See, the thing about let's not talk about Tottenham.
Yeah,
I feel like there's a
the reason why I just brought this up is not necessarily because he's a Tottenham manager. Yeah. It's because he's being branded as the fatherly figure, and that's almost everything everyone talks about.
The point is,
he's keeping people together. He's unifying.
Because Poch at PSG had.
Like nobody really cares. Are you winning trophies or not?
Poch at PSG had Messi, good. Had Neymar, Brazilian semi-good.
The prince of football.
Had Mbappe. That's literally a team that should be able. Look, let's assume their defense is shit. We even had Sergio Ramos. They had a good team to be able to. If they score you 3, you should be able to score 7. What happened, bro? We can talk about everything else that happened in PSG, but the point is, Poch wasn't that guy we thought he was. Let's talk about Poch proper in Chelsea. Let's not talk about. Now let's talk about. Let me go to that. Poch in Chelsea was good.
Yeah.
But if I want to start making excuses for him, injuries. Because, he didn't have Nkunku, he didn't have Reece James, he didn't have Fofana for the whole season, he didn't have Latvia, he didn't have Chilwell. He had to do with what he had then. Yeah. But we watched the matches. Yes. There are matches that you don't need those players for you to win. Poch would play City. And that's one thing I used to get scared about Poch a lot. Yeah, Poch captures City. City is on a good form, give City 2-3-3 draw. No, what was that? 4-4, right? 1-1. We are giving the big teams headache. Then the next match, you really think, okay, Poch, it's Southampton. We should be able to score them 6-0 with our eyes closed. Guess what, bruv? We are losing to them or playing draw. Then let's not even assume Poch was the one. It's Cole Palmer. Because I'm telling you, if Cole Palmer was not brilliant this season, we don't think Poch was going to be a conversation to the end of the season.
No, see, I also think sometimes it boils down to the motivation of the players. Exactly. Because the way in which the team starts a season can really affect how they perform throughout the season. If a team season is down, the players go low on confidence. Like, we all know how these things work. Like, you've been at debate competitions, you start a tournament 9 rounds, after round 3, you've lost all the rounds. Like, your motivation goes down. Like, even the energy to debate, you don't believe in yourself and all that. And you look at the players that they had. All the players you've listed, Latvia, Reece James, Chilwell, Nkunku, all these players are players that were starters, were going to be starters for Poch. All of a sudden, they are not there. You go into a season with pre-season planning that these players are going to be your starters. All of a sudden, they are not there. You are going to be having to use second tier to those particular players to fix the system.
Andrews.
And the results start going bad. And the confidence drop is definitely going to be huge.
You use second tier to draw City. You use second tier to hold Tottenham down. Relax. You use second tier to beat Manchester United.
Let me land on the motivation.
Then, all of a sudden, you've beaten the giants.
Yeah.
It is Southampton you can't beat.
Let me land on the motivation. The reason why I started by saying motivation is that you have people where in specific high-stakes matches, all of a sudden they are motivated because they want to match up with the best of the best and go boot for boot with them. And also because there are certain rivalry conversations, the London rivalry between you guys and Tottenham, the issues, the rivalry between Chelsea and City would always be there. And so you look at those, even Chelsea and United, you look at those flared up matches and it looks like the players are very motivated. All of a sudden, they want to win 50-50 duels. They want to really play very high-paced football. Go and catch Brentford, then all of a sudden they are sitting back. They don't care. The motivation is low.
Poch's first match, where did Chilwell play?
So
No. But I'm asking you.
Tactics. He was supposed to be there. They said go forward. My problem with Poch largely doesn't on your motivation thing. My problem with Poch is largely about the fact that it's not just about your tactics.
Yeah.
It's not just about the fact that you are a magician when it comes to tactics and all that.
Yeah.
But motivation also matters. What is he telling these players? Because I feel like these players that you think...
question just made me laugh. What is he telling these
The players
players
that you think are second tier, you know how much money they are taking? No, because I feel like we don't really... Yes, I feel like we don't really, like, realize the impact of teams like Chelsea and the people who are even on the bench.
Enzo had to be, at some point, the leader in the team, basically.
Yes. So what if you are buying, and this is my qualm with buying a lot of these children, because at a point, right, they are literally 16 years, 17 years old.
17 years old. They are children.
They are children. When you look at the bench of Chelsea, there was a point in our season where you look at the bench of Chelsea, you are like, oh my God.
Also, we'll come to the squad itself because the squad has so many issues.
So Pochetino, and I will not defend Pochetino ever in my life.
Why?
Rhys James was hurting all the time.
Yeah, but
Rhys
coaches
James,
were still getting results.
So
but which coaches were getting results?
And look at the replacement for Rhys James. Malo Gusto.
No, but
Bro stepped up.
Tuchel's success, Rhys James was very, very pivotal.
Was pivotal, but my own is that
even when James got injured at the start of that season, that's when Tuchel started having issues because he wasn't able to play.
My own is despite that Malo Gusto was giving excellent performances. He was fighting for the position.
Yeah.
Let's take that aside. Latvia had never played for Chelsea. We didn't need him. Nkunku as a creator, I feel like that's fair. Yeah. Because one of our problems, we're not creative.
But you had Palmer.
We had Palmer, right? And that failed. So I feel like for even the injuries, right, we still had enough players to be able to make an impact.
Yeah.
Right? So my problem is Pochettino, despite the fact that he was so good, etc., wasn't able to use available resources.
Bannerman.
And that's my problem.
Let me just extend on that. When there's a match, Chelsea is losing.
Yeah.
Have you seen Poch when he's sitting by the stand?
Oh, but that one,
relax.
Ancelotti can raise eyebrows.
No.
Raise eyebrows.
No, relax.
So
He's not Do you know why Ancelotti can do that?
Because he's that guy.
Ancelotti is that guy. Ancelotti has shouted before.
He's like a don.
You see, he has done the grounds job.
Call him Don.
He has done the grounds job. Yeah. So he has reached there. Poch, Southampton, no. Crystal Palace. Wait, you know Rich. Crystal Palace, 10 man. Chelsea. The match. All of a sudden, Crystal Palace has scored Chelsea. The camera is on him, then he's calm. Then in my head, I'm like, me that I'm here in Ghana, watching the match, I'm going mad. At this point, what does he do to the players in-game? His in-game tactics are off.
What does he tell the players?
Because the match will be there. Chelsea is winning by 2-0. The chances that we can get from 2-0 to 3-2 right now in a Poch match is high. Look, we are leading by 2-0. Then your heart is beating because you know something can happen now. And guess what? I'm not joking, but you see, then the goals will happen again.
What you are saying, I think a lot of Chelsea fans were much more comfortable with Tuchel leading 1-0 than with Poch leading 3-0.
Boss, my whole life, I'm used to Chelsea leading by 1-0. Conte, Diego Costa 1-0, we are done. Yeah, what's his name? Mourinho 1-0, we are done. Like Chelsea, we are not there. Chelsea, we don't score 50 or 20.
Okay, let me use this as a point to tell you about some of my trauma. So one of my most traumatic periods, right, with Chelsea is that when you give up on a club, you are like, okay, we are shit, we are not going to win, and then we don't win, and it's like, we are not going to win. Poch's teams will score goals and like, like the love is back, we're actually going to win. All of a sudden they equalize and then they are leading us. If you are shit, be shit. Don't come and give us like.
And that's about Potter.
Lose.
So Potter, at some point, we were watching Potter's match because we were Chelsea fans, not because we expected something.
Yeah, because Potter, you knew the outcome.
Yeah, so Poch.
Poch will give you hope.
No, Poch. We scored United. I said that day. I think that day they checked my blood pressure. Probably is the craziest ever because we scored them. They scored, and we did some magic. No, Kopama individual brilliance. Yeah. The following match, I was like, use this energy, this form to disseminate your next opponent. No. That match, if we had won, we wouldn't have been doing this calculation with United.
Yeah.
Guess what? I'm in my house. No, I was watching the match first half. I think we scored. Then I walked out. They were like, why? I was like, I know where this is going. And look, you thought I was a joker. I got to that and I checked that it was 2 and I was like, Sasa, Then there's this thing about Chelsea. When we lose, ask Bannerman, our Twitter becomes more of rants. Everybody, Ralph is going. Everybody is going on. So that's how life is.
But my problem is that Poch gave us. We didn't expect much from him. I felt like he had flashes. He showed that he could do something. Yeah. And as Ralph said, I don't think that boiled down to Potter. I think that to Poch boiled down to individual brilliance, to be honest.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, let's look at his end of the season. Eventually he ended 6th, right? Which was not where people expected him to be per the performance.
Which is more infuriating because so you could do all this. No, like, because if you feel sick and you won, how many games do you win back to back?
Yeah, a lot too.
A lot of games. So like, so you could do this.
So it's more like when a lot of people were saying
the players were back.
No, it's not just the players were back, but he's now having a hang on the team. And so you see the way the season ended, nobody expected that Poch would be let go. Honestly. At least everyone thought that at least he's 2 years there. Yeah. Even people were expecting that they would give him a 1 year extension so that like he's much more secured for the second year. And then all of a sudden you hear Poch is gone.
No, but retrospectively, when I think about it and looking at the comparative to United and what we passed through the whole season, Poch tried. Let's be fair, because at some point in the season we were labelled the 10th team.
Yeah. You guys were 10th. You guys sat 10th, went to 11th at some point.
Yeah, there was a point where we were winning and we were still 10th. Yeah. But the good news about life is, whilst you are losing, it's not like other people will progress, because at that point in time, Newcastle, Brighton, United they were all struggling. And guess what? It's life. End of the season, we ended up set. But what's the problem? United had to win the FA Cup, and I think that was what got. I think Todd Boehly is like, okay, we're playing Europa Conference, Europa League. We'll get the money. Then we expect City to beat United. It's not a big deal. Then you're watching the match. Actually. Then when that match was happening and we lost, and I got angry more because if we had beaten Southampton, we would have been fit on the table and we didn't need to do the calculation. So eventually, it's life. Let's just say it's life that happened to Poch. Then we are good to go.
Let's come to Marasca before we go to the Chelsea squad to deal with it.
On record, I have nothing to say about Marasca as at now. My reason I don't have anything to say is because he's not coached a team personally in the EPL. He coached Leicester City. They almost blew a 14-point lead at the end of the season. I like his aura. I like his tease. I like his charisma. I like what he does in the YouTube videos. But YouTube videos, we've seen it. We've seen all of those things. We know he's Poch's assistant. Let us leave it as such. No more conversation on him again to the end of the season. Thank you.
Yes.
So, Siki Akono. When Siki Akono was coach of Black Stars, we all sat here.
Oh, how can you start a conversation about Marasca with Siki Akono?
Oh, don't worry, we'll get there. When Siki Akono was coach of Black Stars, we all saw training. Siki Akono was carrying the ball to the pitch first. Yeah. He was. You see him, and there's a picture. He's pointing. People are running. Aura basa. Aura basa.
I don't have aura for you.
Oh, he had aura. They said he was. And
I cannot see it.
And they said, you see, there was a conversation that Siki Akono was a very strict person based on his former playing times and all that, right? What did we see? So it's not about the pointing and the training and the running. Results. Show us the results. But personally, on my view on Enzo Maresca, I would say that as a Chelsea fan, I would be happy if Maresca does well. Yeah. But per his history, again, I don't think he's a Chelsea level coach. His history, bro, like I don't think he's done enough to merit being a coach of Chelsea. Maybe, he's one of those people, you give him an opportunity, he's able to capitalize. But Ralph has rebutted like half of that opportunity already. So I don't think he would be so impactful. My only thing is that right now all the players are back. Yeah. He has the full complement of the squad. Yeah. So let's see what he does with the full complement of the squad.
Wait, how many years did you give him again?
Me.
How many years did they give him?
Did they give him?
5 or 6 years.
It's
very long contract.
Over me, this is my mind. I'm open-minded.
But you see, that's a difficult thing about Chelsea too. You guys are going in for. You went for an experienced coach, gave him a short contract. You went for an inexperienced one.
Boss.
Hold on.
Experience was holding.
Hold on. Went for an inexperienced one, give them long contracts. And then when you sack them, you have much more severance package to pay.
I was just about to
so
ask.
Potter, the huge amount that you guys are paying
just-
Potter. You've gone to sign Marasca now on a 5 to 6 year deal. You finish after half of the season. Chelsea fans are saying Marasca out. Then you sack him. Huge cost.
I was just about to ask, how much was his severance?
No, but wait.
This guy's about to cash out. I'm so happy for him. Yeah.
We have money. The money is not our own. He has money. He knows what he's doing. Whatever happens, we are here.
Charlie, good for him.
No more comments on Marasca.
Thank you very much.
I mean,
Let's
see how things go.
Exactly.
But a lot of people also like just fun fact. I think there's going to be like a Bowdy's competition in the EPL. Marasca, Anslot, Pep, and the fake Pep Ten Hag.
They'll learn very quickly that being bound doesn't make you Pep.
No Esperanto. No to his part.
Yes.
They'll learn very quickly.
Being bound is not being a tactician.
Exactly.
Pep's tactician magic doesn't come from his hair loss.
No, we'll see it very quickly.
Okay.
Nah, I was thinking about Marasca. Let's go on.
I mean, we saw Vincent's company. He was as bound as ever. So that one, it doesn't really change anything.
I had a company joke, but let's just go on.
But the final end of the conversation. Chelsea, you guys, your squad.
Yeah.
The reason why I'm bringing this up is because I remember an interview where Poch was asked about the player who plays for Chelsea. He's on your payroll.
That
Poch, for like 4 times being asked, couldn't recognize that the person was a Chelsea
No, it's
player.
Mangala, the defender. You forgot him.
If I was Poch is paid the coach and he's paid more. He's paid
See,
actually, so he should.
Poch couldn't recognize
That
he was a Chelsea player.
Yeah.
That's how long your squad list is. And that's how huge the squad is. To the extent that there were conversations about the dressing room not being enough to accommodate people within the squad and all that, and people had to be perching in certain unaccommodating places. What is wrong with you guys? How are you fixing the squad issues that Chelsea has?
First things first is,
Yeah.
I think Chelsea is not just a team anymore. We are a loaning company.
Your family.
No, not a family. We loan out players. It's not something we did before, but now we're actively doing it.
Yeah.
For me, I think the squad is set. I honestly don't think I should hear us wanting to buy any player except
But
a
today,
goalkeeper.
you
Relax.
confirmed the signing.
Relax.
Yeah, it's true.
Why really?
Some 17-year-old.
Oh, don't worry.
Of course.
Don't worry. I think all the children we are gathering,
Yeah.
the idea is to loan them out. The idea is to let them get more experience.
Yeah.
The idea is we'll make value out of them and probably sell them.
Yeah.
We've done that. This guy, the guy that went to the final, Matson, Dortmund, now we sold him to Aston Villa. Yeah, beautiful. But for the team itself, I just think we need Maresca in his wisdom to shuffle off some players.
But he said to trust the goalkeeper.
Relax. Oh, that's why I said I won't talk about him, because for him to say he's choosing Sanchez, relax. The fact that he chooses Sanchez, the fact that he relax. I saw it. The fact that he says he's choosing Sanchez over Petrovic, I want to see.
Petrovic has been so solid.
Relax.
He said he trusts Sanchez.
So he says Sanchez, I'm fine. I want to know, are we going away with Badlashidi or the other French guy, not Fofana? The right back. Why am I forgetting their name now? Disasi.
Disasi.
What are we going to do about the overpacked defense? The
We
midfield.
just signed Vega, another defender,
Relax.
by the way. So
The midfield stress. Latvia, Enzo Caicedo, Chukwuemeka. Why am I all of a sudden I'm forgetting?
Latvia, Enzo Caicedo,
Chukwuemeka.
Oh, the boy, the Casade. Casade is also
Italy,
there.
them are their superstar.
Andre, that's Casade.
But
I even
Are
had
you establishing like
so my point is,
the Brazilian player, Andre Santos.
then the prize boy, PAEZ, the one that is playing in the Copa America too. We have lots of players. My point is, it's time for us to know what are we doing, because we have Europe. We are going to be the first team ever to win Champions League, Conference League, and Europa League.
Bro, Bethlehem United is going to dunk on us, bro. I can feel it in my bones.
Jericho United.
I can feel it in my bones.
And that's the reason why this season he has to be able to choose the players, because we're playing Thursday matches, Saturday, Sunday. We also want him to do well in the league because we want to brag. In fact, you can lose some matches, but don't just lose to United or Arsenal.
But let me ask you this before you go on. Do you think we have a solid enough team? Do you think, and I'm asking this because
signings do you think
exactly what signings do you think
I think
Chelsea
you guys need
need?
a goalkeeper and a striker.
Exactly, the striker.
I think you need like a prolific
Bro,
goal
who
scorer.
is our striker? Lukaku is still our player.
No, please. Right now, everybody's they're fighting for him. They want Fenerbahce to want him, but that's not a problem. Right now, I'm still saying it again. Jackson went under the knife because of his first season was not based on stats. It was not bad. It was not bad. But if you compare it to the chances he missed, it was horrible because Jackson had every chance to be able to have gotten off on the goal scoring chart very, very early, even when Haaland was on injury.
But don't you think this is similar to someone?
Who?
Timo Werner. He hits the bar like 14 times in the season.
Actually, there's this statistic about the topmost strikers
missing lots of chances.
No, whose first seasons usually come with very, very high XGs.
Yeah.
Like not even the first season, the strikers to have the highest XGs in a season. The likes of Lewandowski, Kane, Haaland are the ones topping that. Timo Werner is on that list on 5th or so. Yeah. Drogba is there. Nicolas Jackson is like 6th or 7th.
Yeah, but the point is, I feel like first season we've seen what he can do. Yeah. This season, I'm still saying it again. I would bank on him and Broja, and knowing that these are the players that we have.
Wow, Broja is still employed.
Relax. The reason I'm saying so is we will bank on those ones that we have and we've seen than people we've not seen and we are mysteriously thinking they'll try. Because who's the alternative? Is it to bring what's the name of the Monopoly Nigerian guy? Osimhen.
No,
the hype around him.
Just trust Jackson.
I'm worried because let Jackson just be the one there. Which other team is going to sell you their striker now? Or you want to go and pick a kid from Brazil for him to come and strike for us?
Charlie, the thing is, as we are speaking right now, I don't trust Jackson enough. I feel like compared to what you are saying, I don't think there are enough prolific strikers on the market.
I think also maybe you guys can, if Nkunku is fit and you are playing both Nkunku and Palmer, then you can play Nkunku as like...
And the thing about Jackson too is he can play wings too. Like he's actually performed well. Jackson is not bad when he holds the ball. Jackson is not bad tracking back. But Jackson is horrible with finishing.
I'm surprised I'm not talking about... I'm surprised I'm not talking about wingers.
No. See, the last part of the conversation I was coming to ask was about Raheem Sterling.
Hey, we have a whole session dedicated to step. Wow. all right. So before,
like we have a few minutes to wrap on this one. Raheem Sterling.
So
because that's obviously the wingers discussion.
Before we go to so on the wingers conversation, I personally feel Chelsea needs more now is wingers. Yeah. The only thing is I'm tired because we've tried so many.
Like you guys have
Ziyech. We had Ziyech.
Currently,
and we tried and it didn't work.
You have Mudryk.
My God, Mudryk. So we have Mudryk, we have Sterling, we have Palmer sometimes plays at the wing sometimes.
On the wings as well.
And I feel like none of these people, apart from probably Madueke.
Yeah, Madueke is very, very
and Sterling.
He creates an impression when he comes on the pitch as well.
I don't think any of them are typical wingers. All Mudryk does is run.
No. I think for Mudryk,
you say
I just think Mudryk, for me, I think his hard work is still waiting for the reward.
He talks about hard work all the time.
But the reward will come eventually. The reason I'm saying so is because, like, let's be fair, the thing about him is that
there's a war in his country, bro.
Trauma,
bro. No.
But my point is, but the question of wingers. Let's ask you a question now. Wingers currently in the EPL. There are no wingers that are acting like wingers how we used to expect them. The Iron Robin, like when we talk about who typical wingers are, Guardiola has come to mess the entire structure of football so much that now wingers are so scared. Probably people like Saka.
But then Saka,
or this guy, Saka, like who would go in?
Saka is not even a typical winger.
Yeah.
Typical wingers are Beckham, go shoot the cross.
But Saka does better.
Do you say Beckham? Relax, moderator.
Saka does better as a winger. And that's the kind of winger I want
to have. Like the kind of expectation we have on wingers are like goal scoring wingers, like Saka.
I don't really care if you
zoom. But the Sterling chat, please. But let's talk about Sterling chat again. For me, Sterling needs to be there this season. And the reason I'm saying so is
experience.
Do you think he needs to leave Chelsea though?
Nope, I don't think so. I don't think yet. I think for me on the left side, I'll still bet on the Sterling Mudryk drama. Reason being that let's just assume last season we didn't have a good setup or a bad coach. This is a season to give them opportunity to say...
This season you have a good coach.
We have a coach, you don't know whether it's good or bad. The season will determine. Then, on the other side, the 19-year-old, 16-year-old sensational Brazilian...
Santos.
The Willian guy we've gotten...
He's really forgotten.
The Willian guy we've gotten alongside Madueke. I think we should be able to just like see because last Kopama or even Nkunku can always attend on the wing. I don't think we need to buy more. My problem with buying more is that buying more means we are about to start a whole.
Buy more.
You guys are also not selling.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that's
No,
the
we are.
problem. You guys are not selling.
Oh, we are selling.
Buy more.
No, you are loaning
children.
players.
Maresca says we should relax. Fofana is still our striker.
Yeah,
Hey,
exactly.
that throw for fun.
Yeah, David Detro Fofana is still Chelsea striker.
Bro.
Woo!
But we are fine. We'll be
Wow.
fine.
Personally,
Yeah.
on the Raheem Sterling chat, I think there have been so many instances where Sterling comes in and changes the game for Chelsea.
Yeah.
So he's still that guy. So we have a player, well, apart from Palmer, so we have a player that can do what Sterling does. He needs to stay. Also, more importantly, because there is no experience in the team right now.
Yeah.
And Sterling needs to be there for experience purposes. Whether they will listen to him, that's another conversation. Like that thing they did with do you remember the Palmer ball thing?
Yeah,
penalty thing. It was so horrible, and that was simply because there was really no
But
leadership.
before you guys run away, who do you
Yes,
think should be captain for the next season?
James is still captain, and if he's fit, he's still going to.
Do you think James will be fit?
Is he ever fit?
You know this question that you are saying.
I think
you
Gallagher
James
has the
can be fit?
personality enough.
Running around
Personality.
is not personality.
So,
Oh,
but
I think
Gallagher
apart
has
from
been
that,
captaining the
he's-
team sometimes.
Yeah, he's had the personality of leading.
Also experience
Right.
within the team.
Exactly. So, and the thing is, who if you won't give it to Gallagher, who you give it to?
Because
It can't be Palmer.
If you are looking at it, no, I don't think Palmer.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's three people on my mind now, and it's funny that I'm the non-Chelsea fan commenting on this.
Enzo.
But it's Enzo, Gallagher, or Sterling, one of them.
No, please.
Sterling, I don't see Sterling as a leader.
Hey, boss. Tracker.
No,
Enzo,
I'm asking. I'm profiling them based on like the amount of experience they have.
the reason I'm saying Enzo,
Obviously, I don't trust Sterling as a leader. I don't think he has the aura around him really. Well.
the reason I'm saying Enzo is because
probably.
I don't think Enzo doesn't get injured like except the latter part of the season, but
But I heard-
who always
I
start
heard
him.
wanted to leave, so.
Who always start him.
But
That price
he's
tag
not
on his
going
face, he
anywhere.
cannot sit down on the bench.
He's
We've not finished
going
paying.
anywhere.
So he can't go anywhere. He should just calm
He
down.
will stay in Chelsea.
I would have said Caicedo, but
He sold his soul to the
Caicedo.
devil. He's going to be there.
But let's see. I don't know. This season, I have blanket expectations.
Yeah.
The first match would never be what I used to judge Marasca. Either he wins or he loses, because if he wins, I don't think.
You are playing City.
No, I'm saying wait. If he wins, City doesn't usually start the season well. If he
Yeah.
loses, it is City. I already have excuses lined up for him for the first matches. Go on. But where I wouldn't start listening to any excuse is when we start playing United. When we start playing us. Like there are some teams that their fan base hates us here directly.
Yeah.
If City wins, I won't lie to you.
Move us, Charlie.
Yeah.
If
I
United
think-
beat us or Arsenal beat us, that would worry us.
Yeah.
So, but what I would say,
Tottenham.
Jesus Christ.
Not really, honestly.
See, what I would say is that
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to how I feel like we have a full squad. And to be honest, Chelsea fans are such crybabies. Like they want this signing. We have such a solid. The players are solid though. If you look at our
No,
defense,
the thing I see about Chelsea, you guys, a lot of people have even forgotten about the players you have.
honestly, because they were ahead. You know, for a long time, I forgot Fofana was a Chelsea player. Look at how long Fofana has been in injury.
Yeah.
But now that the full team is back, Fofana, Cucurella, you have what's it called? James, Chilwell, Colwell, bro. Like you have Colwell.
You guys have a list of players like people don't even know exist
There are
anymore. So.
solid players in
Yeah,
Chelsea.
so Maresca doesn't have an excuse.
He doesn't have an excuse.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been fun having this conversation with you guys. I mean, like, just trolling you all around Chelsea and all that. But it's been a really nice episode. We had one on Manchester United. I had a discussion with Faithfulness.
I watched that one, and for the first time in a long while, faithfulness is not faithfulness. Talking about Manchester United, because faithfulness used to have this level of enthusiasm. Like back then, there was a whole energy, but
No, I think the thing is that now he's talking more from a professional's point of view than from a fan's point of view.
Yeah.
Because he's a sports lawyer. He also owns
Yeah.
a sports agency. So obviously he knows more backdoor things about the sport. Unlike you guys. Who are,
But see, regardless of what happens, we can't wait to see him. You see, that's the thing about being a professional.
Yeah.
Regardless of being a professional, there will be a time
we know you.
where United will be terrible, and we'll be waiting for that legendary faithfulness status update.
I reminded him on the episode. I was telling him that like the the thing that people miss a lot about Faithfulness is his legendary status.
I don't know. But
updates.
about status updates is the before season banter, and I feel like this year Wadek has been quite calm.
Very quiet.
Yeah, because the thing is, I think it's been humble because last season there's nothing Faithfulness says about United I didn't start down. When he said Onana will not make mistake, Onana considered a record-breaking season. But that's one thing about the entire like debate community and how much of a family we are. Like shout out to Faithfulness. We hope you make more predictions and forget the professionalism sometimes and still deal with us as your own guys.
Anyway, it's been a fun discussion with you guys. Thanks to all our listeners. Thanks to all our viewers for tuning in on this episode. Leave your comments and your thoughts, especially for the Chelsea fanatics. I know that you guys are definitely going to enjoy this one and share in both the plight, the lack of optimism, and the hopes of these two gentlemen here. It's been the beer parlor with me, Andrews, on the Shafts podcast, and I've been here with Ralph and Bannerman, two astute Chelsea fans who live their lives around the success of Chelsea. And it's been fun seeing you all. See you all on the next one. Thanks, everyone. Bye.